48. To my guest, if you do still want to join, all you have to do is click the link that I sent out to you. But here we go. So, all right, I'm gonna start over. Good evening and welcome to the show. Today is Saturday, March 12th. We are still in Pisces season. Let me say this: Pisces. I'm about to say it wrong. March Pisces and February Pisces are very different. I mean, we do share some of the same traits, but we are still very different. And I'm going to leave that for another show. But anyway, let's get on with this show. Now, I will be doing my review of the Hotel RIU Cancun, located nowhere else but the beautiful country of Mexico. Okay. So I have a video to show. I did a full walkthrough of the hotel. I recently stayed 3 nights in February for my birthday. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start the video. I'm already sharing my screen, so I should just play. All right, y'all. We are at the Hotel RIU Cancun in Mexico. What time? 7:10, 10:30? The reception area. More reception. So it's still early. It's about 7 a.m. But here is, oh, the sun. Here's a bar. If you can see it, I know the sun is just, but this is a bar area. Just a lounge area. Elevators. And here's a little gift shop. And this is a sushi restaurant. So these are all open. We actually came to this one last night, but it was a bit of a line to get in. It's no reservations. It's just pretty much first come, first serve. So we'll go look at the pool area. Like the infinity pretty pool that goes around the building. It's not for swimming. It's just a little. I think it's just for more like for decoration. It's very shallow. So this is like one of the pools with the car on the inside. Yeah, like I said, it's still early. It's like 7. I just wanted to do my video early before everybody started getting up. And this is like the theater area where they do the shows and whatnot. And this is like a second pool. Towels. And then there's this third pool. So, and they do have a sports bar here. So this one is actually 24 hours. And there's food and liquor. 24 hours. So here's another restaurant. I'm not sure the name of this one. It looks like they're having breakfast right now. And then there is the buffet. I'm not gonna eat here. I'm just gonna show you the food. So we may have to wait so they can show us to a table. So it's the buffet and the steakhouse combined. So let me just say this. It was extremely early in the morning. It was like maybe 7:30, I think, in the morning. So the sun was just coming in from like every angle possible because there's like a lot of windows in the hotel. So I do apologize because there is like a lot of sun glares in the video. Lots and lots. You make it like that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The video is gonna stop, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. But that's the walkthrough of the hotel. Now, I do want to say this on the buffet, they have plenty of food options. So the way that they have the buffet set up is it's pretty much as on one side is like your typical American buffet where it's or you would have your bacon, sausage, omelets, fried egg, scrambled egg, I guess ham, just things that you would see on a buffet. I can't even talk on a buffet here in the States. Then there's like a other side where there's more of a Mexican buffet, because it's like the tostadas, it's like breakfast quesadillas, breakfast burritos, it's like a lot of salsas, a lot of nachos, it's like refried beans, and like some of the stuff I don't even know. Like I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like I know, because I don't. Um, and then there's another area where it's just mostly like pastries and like biscuits and whatnot. And then there is another station where you can go and you can get pancakes, you can get waffles, you can get French toast, and it's like for the toppings, it's like honey, syrup, maple syrup, Nutella, just whatever you may want, I guess, to go on your waffle or pancake or whatever. Um, and then there's like a beverage stand that's like kind of like in the middle, and you have the option there to do like, I think it's like different types of coffee, cappuccino, espresso, um, it's soda, juice, water, and then ice, and it's got like the glasses right there for your drink. Um, Also, I want to say the sports bar. So the sports bar is 24 hours, and when you go in, of course, you saw like the pool tables, and then there was a guy there, and it was like the bar. Back behind the bar area, it's an area where you can go and you can get food. Like you can get food 24 hours because most of the restaurants close. I want to say 9, but I'm not gonna say that because when we did the steakhouse, we were there like well after 9. So, and I believe they were still letting people in like after 9 o'clock. So I don't want to say the hours, but all of the restaurants that I showed in the video, they were all open. So I will say that, like, yeah, all of the restaurants, they were open. At the steakhouse, I will say this. This is my second time staying at a RIU hotel. I stayed at the one in Jamaica. And I will say this one in Mexico, the food options at the steakhouse was a little bit better. Like the steakhouse in Jamaica, if I'm not mistaken, like you could only get steak and I believe it may have been chicken, but I think it was just steak. See, that's why I wish my cousin would have joined the live. Um, because I did a review for the hotel RIU Reggae in Jamaica. But I can say like this menu in Mexico was very extensive compared to the one in Jamaica. I mean, you had a choice of like salmon, shrimp, steak, ribs, chicken. Like you did not have those options at the other one in Jamaica. And I actually ordered and they kept on saying it was for two, but I'm like, well, what if, two people don't want to eat the same thing? And I ended up getting it was shrimp, chicken, sausage, ribs, and steak. And then it came with like corn, roasted tomato, and broccoli. It was really good. And then you got like a dessert at the end, but before that, with like the appetizers, you got like a salad and some cheese sticks. So it was very different than the one in Jamaica. Like, and then we did not eat at any of the other restaurants. Like the only thing we did was the buffet, and then we did the steakhouse. Because we really didn't we really went at the resort a lot, I guess that's what I want to say. So we did venture off and do other things, and we ate at other places. And I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna actually make that into another video, like all of the other places that we ate at in Mexico that wasn't in the resort. And I think I might have like already put like one place out there, but you have to watch like one of my other videos to see that. But anyway, I will say this. There is a gift shop in the hotel, and you can find items like, you need Tylenol, chips, candy, soda, souvenirs to take home. And there's also, and at first I didn't understand, but then I understood. They actually stock up Pedialyte in the gift shop at the hotel. They have Pedialyte in the gift shop at the hotel. And at first I thought it was weird, but now I'm like, yeah, okay. It's Cancun, people out here partying, and yeah. So I understood why they had that there. What else? So the transportation to and from the hotel, I will say overall it was pretty good. And I actually have a prior video of landing in Cancun and going through customs and then transportation and then on the way to the hotel. I can say it's pretty good. They have it set up really nice because they tell you, like when you're going through the airport, you see the people from the hotel. So you will see the people from RIU inside of the airport, and they will tell you where to go on the outside of the airport. So I think they do a really good job of making sure that you really know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And I can say for us personally, once we got outside of the airport, we found the transportation, and then we waited for like maybe 20 minutes, and then we walked, and then he showed us where to go, I guess, to get to transportation, and they took us to the hotel. But it was probably about 20, maybe 20, 25 minutes, I would say. It wasn't bad. So I'm not going to complain about it. I thought the transportation, and then even when we were leaving, the transportation was there. They told us what time to come downstairs and to be ready. So also with COVID testing. So this is the thing about Mexico. You do not have to have a negative COVID test to get into Mexico. You don't have to have anything besides your passport and a temporary visa to get into Mexico. But when you're leaving Mexico to come back to the States, you have to have a negative COVID test. I will say this. We did the COVID test Saturday at 5 o'clock p.m. We go, the staff is there, we do the test, and then they say, they would email the results. I think they said by 8 or something like that. I forgot the time frame that they gave. But anyway, I want to say it was like no later than 8, but 8 o'clock came, we still didn't have it. 9 o'clock came, we still didn't have it. So we went to the front desk that same night because I'm like, okay, we're here, we don't have it, what's going on? We should have this. So we're telling the people at the front desk, we did this, da-da. And anyway, we ended up waiting for maybe like 20 minutes or so. And they were trying to contact the people who did the COVID test because they were already gone for today. Well, for that day. Anyway, they ended up getting the test results. I guess I don't know I don't know what they did, but they ended up getting them from the people who did the test. And then they ended up printing it out and giving it to us. But had we not asked, we wouldn't have gotten them that night because the Sunday morning when we were ready to leave and we were going to do our checkout where you have to return your wristbands, there were people there who did not get their COVID results back on Saturday, but they were leaving Sunday. So now they have to wait for the same process that we waited for the night before. But my whole thing is, if you haven't gotten these test results back before you try to turn up or do anything like that in Mexico, you need to go and check in and see what's going on, because that's what we did. Because otherwise we would have been sitting there looking crazy with them that morning, that next morning. But no, we checked on it that same day. So I will say that about them. Also, I feel like, the drinks were pretty good. They kept the drinks flowing. You could get whatever you wanted. But what I learned is they actually had like more top shelf, I guess. But you would have to ask for it because it wasn't something that was offered. So that is something that I learned after the fact, but that's okay. And I want to say that, the staff was really nice. Everybody there was really nice. And then, another thing, make sure you have pesos for your check-in process. There is a fee that you have to pay for, right? And it's like $4.86 in pesos, but it's like, I forgot what it was in US. It's like 80 something dollars or something like that. But it's like $4.86 in pesos. So before you go, depending on who you bank with, you can sign into your online banking and order foreign currencies and have it overnighted to your house. Okay? Now, Bank of America, they charge about $20 for this service. So before I went, I didn't even know that they were going to do that. So before I went to Mexico, I actually signed into my Bank of America account and I ordered pesos because I knew I was going to Mexico. Because before I went to Jamaica, I didn't do that. And when I got there, I was trying to figure out how I was going to convert, my currency. So I just thought this time, rather than waiting, I would just see if I could do it beforehand. And I figured I could do it through Bank of America. And I'm quite sure if Bank of America offers that service, then I'm quite sure that other banks would too. But anyway, I do have one more video that I'm going to share. And let's see. Give me just a minute. Oh, okay. So this is the actual room tour, and I might talk through it because when I did the room tour, we had already been there I think I did the tour I did it on Saturday. So like, of course, we've already been in the room and whatever, but this is the room tour that I did. This is the room tour. I probably could have did a better job in the bathroom area. It's just a regular shower, I guess. Iron board. Just it's the same setup as the RIU in Jamaica. Some storage, hangers, a minibar with some liquor. Because I know a lot of people said in reviews that they did not have liquor in their room. It's liquor in here. Yeah. Then there's a refrigerator. It was already stocked for us. And some water bottles and some other stuff. So they have it stocked already. And this is a double. The beds actually come apart. Yeah, so the beds are together, but they actually, you can separate them as far out as you want. Have a balcony. The view was amazing. You can see my haters in the background if you look hard enough. All right, so that was just like a very quick room tour. I wanted to do that fast because we're all in the room and we have all of our stuff laying out. So that was the tour of the room. Now, as far as my honest review of the Hotel RIU Cancun in Mexico, let me just say this. The food was good. The location was just perfect. Like, the location was just amazing. Like, we could walk and go to like all the clubs around the corner. And, you know, I'm going to do a video, like a vlogging video, because I have so much footage from when I was in Mexico. We could walk across the street and go around the corner. And it was, they compared it to the Vegas Strip. Now, would I compare it to the Vegas Strip? No. I've been to Vegas. I know what the Vegas Strip looks like. And I wouldn't compare it. But it's very nice. It's very lively. It's like the whole, like, nightlife atmosphere that we all want, you know, when we go out. And then at the same time, you know, we want to feel safe. So I can say there was never a time that I did not feel safe in Mexico. I will share this. And I have a video of it. When we were in the pool like overlooks the beach. They did have the SWAT team armed, fully armed, walking on the beach. I will say that because apparently it was an incident that happened back in, I believe it was like sometime in between October or November 2021. Where something happened over there in like Cancun, like in the tourist area or whatnot. I'm not gonna really elaborate, but you can Google it. Just Google it. But I mean, I could say like I didn't feel like unsafe, you know, but it's just one of those things where no matter where you go, we live in the United States. So we can't like say, oh, I go to Cancun and I'm fearing. No, we live in the States. Okay. It's just one of those things where just be mindful of your surroundings, okay? Just like how you would be anywhere else. That's how I think about any situation that I put myself into, especially if it's somewhere that I'm not familiar with. That's just me. The location was perfect. The beach was just amazing. The food was really good. The staff was really nice. The only cons is the COVID testing process, okay? Because, like I mentioned, if we hadn't went and checked, they wouldn't have said anything to us about the COVID test results, and we need that to get back into the United States. So I feel like with the COVID testing process, they definitely need to make some changes, like real changes, because that's not cool. Like, you can't have people waiting for their results, even if they have to come back downstairs to pick up the piece of paper a couple hours later. You need to let them know that. We shouldn't have to come to the front desk and ask about it. Like, because in Jamaica, it was not like that. They emailed it to us. I think we got it in like an hour or two after we did the test. Um, so this was very different. Like, we had to go down there, we had to ask, and then we had to wait because the people had already left. And then the next morning, when we went to check out, it was like people down there waiting because they haven't gotten their COVID test back and they needed to go home. And people were like in a panic because they did not have the COVID test. And that is not okay, because that would make people feel, maybe not want to go back. I mean, I would go back because I'm going to be on top of what I have to do. But at the same time, you have people who just feel like, well, they said they're going to do da da da. And that's what y'all should have done. So with the whole COVID thing, they need to do way better with that. They have to do better with that, because that's how people need to get back home. And then also say, with the whole check-in process, not being able to use a debit card to pay for a fee. So there is a fee that you have to pay when you come to the hotel. Even though it's not a lot, but they're not going to accept a debit card for it, and they're not going to accept US currency for it. It has to be paid in pesos. They do have an ATM in the hotel. But my whole thing is, they need to make it known, like on the website. When you go and you book for the RIU Cancun, they need to make that be known. Like, hey, when you come to check in, you have to have pesos, because I wasn't told that. I just thought, well, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and order some foreign currency before I go to Mexico, just because I didn't do it in Jamaica. And it was so crazy because when I went and I was checking in, she was kind of shocked, like the way she looked at me when I was like, oh, I already have pesos. And she was like, oh, like, yeah, like she was kind of taken aback, like, oh, okay. Because they don't mention that. And then, I don't know. But anyway, just make sure you have pesos when you go to Mexico, because I've learned, like, the locals, when you give them tips or anything like that, I think they would rather prefer pesos, and lots of them. I'm just saying. No, but they're all really nice. They were very helpful, very kind. Even if they thought that you may have looked the slightest confused, like you wasn't sure or something, they would come over and they would ask, if you needed help with anything. And they speak English really well. So don't think that you can go over there and the people are not going to understand. No. For the most part, they all spoke really good English. Like, the locals spoke perfect English. Even when we went off the resort, they spoke English. We went to Isla Mujeres, which is like, I think they said it was like 7 miles out from Cancun in the oceans, like an island. It was so pretty over there. Now I will say, over there, the English wasn't as good, but they, could still relate to what you were trying to say and what you were asking, and vice versa. And everyone was just so nice, so polite. It's so pretty over there, and I would definitely go back to Mexico. So, in my honest review, I'm going to give the Hotel RIU Cancun, I'm going to give them a 4.5. Yeah, I'm going to give them a 4.5. I really enjoyed myself. It was very nice. It was clean. Um, it was very clean hotel. The pool area was nice. The beaches were nice. The staff was super friendly. But the only two drawbacks that I had was the whole COVID process. And they should have mentioned the that you couldn't use your debit card or US currency during a check-in process. Like, you could pay for your room with your debit card, but it was like some type of hotel fee, like I don't even, was it may have been like a incidental fee or something like that, that they wasn't gonna let you use your card to pay for it. They wasn't gonna let you use like US cash. They had to be paid in pesos, which came to the tune of, for us, it was $4.86 in pesos. And I just felt like that they should have mentioned that already, because most folks think that they can just come over there and just use their debit card for everything, and that's just not the case. And it's a lot of places over there that don't accept debit card, that will only accept cash and pesos. So you just have to be mindful of that as well. Like, yeah, you do need your debit card, but you do need cash, and you definitely need pesos when you go to Mexico. So, but that's my review. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. So that's my thoughts on the hotel RIU Cancun. Thank you for watching the show. And as always, like, share, and subscribe.